Hey guys, it's Chris. Duplexes. If you're into trains, you probably know them. For those who don't know, a duplex is a steam locomotive that puts the driving force on two separate sets of driving wheels under a rigid frame, as opposed to using articulated frames. The concept was primarily used on the Pennsylvania Railroad with four different classes of engines: Q1, Q2, S1, and T1. Today, I'll be rambling about these four classes of engines. You know me, I don't spend too much time on the intro, so let's get into it. The Q1 was built in 1942. It was numbered 6130, had a wheel arrangement of 4644, a top speed of at least 70 miles per hour, and a pretty interesting streamlining design by Raymond Loewy, which was taken off in 1945 sadly. It was the last mixed traffic engine built for the PRR, but there's no substantial evidence that it was ever assigned to passenger service. However, H.W. Jones, chief of motor power at the time, stated that 6130 would be considered a passenger locomotive as far as striping and lettering were concerned. 6130 was put on its first revenue run in May, running a freight train of 125 cars and 10,000 tons from Altoona to Enola. Unfortunately, during its career, it was said to spend more time in the works than out and running, only ever traveling around 156,000 service miles. This is because of the rear cylinders. It was mounted backwards, being next to the firebox, which not only constrained their size, but also caused more wear to the cylinders from the dust and heat from the firebox, an issue shared with the Baltimore and Ohio Class N1 number 5600 George H. Emerson. The length of the steam pipes also meant power loss, and the passenger-sized driving wheelbase just didn't work for freight service. It was eventually put out of service in 1949 and then scrapped in 1952. The PRR designed a class of duplex locomotives which improved on the problems that 6130 had, named the Q2s. They were built from 1944 to 1945 with a wheel arrangement of 4644, also having a top speed of at least 70 miles per hour, using a smaller driving wheelbase, having the cylinders facing forward, and only being built on freight service. As duplexes were prone to wheel slip, the Q2s were fitted with automatic slip control mechanisms that reduced power to the slipping unit. A total of 26 Q2s were built, with one prototype numbered 6131 and 25 production locomotives numbered 6175 to 6199. These locomotives were the most successful duplex designs of the PRR, and even out of all of the duplexes ever built. Despite this, they had high operating and maintenance costs, and they were decommissioned in 1951 from dieselization. The S1, the first of the PRR duplexes, was built in 1939 with a wheel arrangement of 6446 and given the number 6100. And my god does it look beautiful. The streamlining was again designed by Raymond Loewy, and this might be one of, if not Loewy's best streamlining designs. This engine was also the largest passenger steam locomotive ever built, with a total length of 140 feet, the boiler being nearly as big as the Union Pacific Big Boys, and having the largest and heaviest tender on a steam locomotive, giving it the nickname the Big Engine. 6100 was displayed at the 1939 New York World's Fair, and then put to work on passenger services. It actually performed not too bad, but it was just too long and too big. It ended up not being used on this long-distance express service as intended, as some turns were just too sharp for it to navigate safely. It was only able to run express trains from Chicago, Illinois, and Crestline, Ohio during its career. Another issue is that half of the weight was put on the six-wheeled leading and trailing wheels, making 6100 prone to wheel slip. However, it was able to stay in service for 5.5 years, making it have the longest working life for experimental steam locomotive prototypes on the PRR. 6100 was retired in 1946 and then scrapped in 1949. Preservation was planned, but financial difficulties during the time seized the chance, which is quite unfortunate. One interesting thing to note here is that 6100 might have broken a speed record. There were allegations that it went over Mallard's speed record of 126 miles per hour and reached speeds up to 152 miles per hour, causing the Pennsylvania Railroad to get a fine. However, these allegations were never confirmed, and as of now, Mallard remains the fastest steam locomotive in the world officially. But imagine what it would have been like if 6100 actually broke the record. Finally for today, the T1s, with two prototypes, 6110 and 6111, being built in 1942, and 50 production locomotives, 5500 to 5949, being built from 1945 to 1946, having a wheel arrangement of 4444. These were the last steam locomotives built for the Pennsylvania Railroad, the only class of duplexes that were able to run on the entire railroad network, and the most controversial. Sure, they were powerful, fast, ambitious, technologically sophisticated, and had a cool sharp-nosed streamlining design yet again by Raymond Loewy, but of course they were prone to wheel slip, expensive and complicated to maintain and run, and had design and performance issues. For example, the original material used for the valves were prone to fatigue issues, particularly when they were operating at over 100 miles per hour. This issue was fixed with stronger fatigue-resistant alloy being retrofitted to them. However, the design of the Franklin Type A poppet valves made several key areas of the valves hard to access during maintenance overhauls. Despite these issues, the poppet valves did improve the T1's high-speed performance, requiring less horsepower and distributing steam flow with greater precision. Unfortunately, before the other problems of the T1s could be solved, the PRR moved towards dieselization, and all of the original 52 T1s were withdrawn and scrapped between 1952 and 1956. Oddly, the two prototypes never had these issues the production T1s had. However, at the time this video was published, a 53rd T1 is currently under construction by the T1 Trust, a non-profit organization founded in 2013 with the goal of building a brand new T1 from scratch, number 5550. Aiming for it to be completed by 2030, running mainline steam excursions, being an improvement on the original T1s, and maybe even breaking the speed record for steam locomotives officially. The original T1s were rumored to reach speeds of over 140 miles per hour, and the T1 Trust believes that they are capable of reaching this speed. Even though I'm not American myself, I can't wait to see it in action. If you want more information regarding the project, I'll provide a link in the description to the T1 Trust website where you can donate to help the project. I truly believe it can be done. Well, that's it for this video. The PRR duplexes, while not the most successful, were still one of a kind and I really liked looking into them. Thanks to Wikipedia and some other sources for the information I gathered while making this video. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.